Welcome, welcome everyone. Wait just a minute for everyone to get their audio set up. But huge thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. Just a heads up, we've started recording this meeting. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Really excited to have a kind of end of year showcase to all of the hard work that our members have put in this year. So first I'm going to speak for a few minutes on behalf of the exec board, just about the club, give a little introduction, and then I'll pass it off to Jaden, who's going to be a kind of MC for the showcase tonight. But a little bit about ChangeOS Plus. So hopefully all of you know, but ChangeOS Plus is a fully student-driven software development club on Vanderbilt's campus that strives to drive impact in the nonprofit community by creating the technology that nonprofit organizations need to operate more efficiently and better serve their community. So it started a couple of years ago as an idea in the head of some guys who are a couple of years older than us, or some people who are, some people who are 1 year older than us, just a group of friends. And they had this idea, their freshman year, and they made it into a club their sophomore year where they took their first slate of projects. And each year it's kind of been growing and getting bigger. We've been trying to drive more impact and also provide more resources for our members. And here we are. I believe this is our third full year of ChangeOS Plus projects. There was kind of like that first year was kind of like a half thing. So third or fourth, however you want to call it. But really awesome year, really successful year. We have some amazing projects that we're about to show. And really over those past few years, we've been able to kind of like find ourselves as a club, I would say, in the sense that we realize that the value of what we do is kind of in these two pillars, which is one is our members, providing for our members, providing experience for them that they can be fulfilled, have experiences of leadership, take initiative, problem solving, and using kind of the tools that we learn in the classroom, but in a more real world setting. And then the other one is obviously our stakeholders, who without them, we can't drive any impact. Because our apps are used by them, implemented by them, we pass it back to them, and they're the ones who are excited and involved in answering our questions when they know their communities, they know their operations. So every single project starts at a little bit of a different point of how much they know of what they need, but over the course of the year, they're all involved, answering our questions, being a part of the discussion, and really helping us get to a point where we can deliver something that can help them out. So lastly, before we get started, a quick call out to all of you who are viewing this. We are in the process of looking for new projects for next year. So over the course of this call, if you think of anything, think of any nonprofits that you've worked with or that you know of that might be interested in some type of service like this, reach out to them or reach out to us, and give us an idea, give us a connection, whatever it is, however much you know about it. And we'd love to talk to them and hear their ideas for something where we can hopefully help their organization. And lastly, huge thank you to all of our members. They have done an amazing job this year, spent countless hours on their projects, lots of learning, lots of teamwork, lots of collaborating, lots of problem solving. And really all of these projects, they should be very, very proud of themselves for what they've come up with. So thank you to all of you. And without further ado, I'll give it to Jaden and we can start showing off their awesome apps.
Yes, thank you, Ethan. And again, like Ethan said, thank you all for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. But enough delay, let's go ahead and get started at these projects. We're gonna start off with the FarmLink app with our PM, Sam Welch.
Okay, can I get a thumbs up from someone who can see my screen? All right, awesome. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for coming today. My name is Sam Welch, and I'm the product manager for the FarmLink project. And my fellow team members include senior developer Jacob, developers Tabitha, Alice, and Lucas, our designer Amber, and lastly Drew, who provided some guidance and mentorship from the executive board. So we worked with the FarmLink project, which is an organization that connects farms with excess produce to food banks in need. And it was created in the wake of COVID-19 to address supply chain issues. But the team quickly realized that this was a problem that wasn't going to go away even as the pandemic starts to wane. And this is where our project comes in. Since there would be a long-term niche for FarmLink, they wanted to look for a way to more effectively utilize the data that's at its disposal. As for the product that our team delivered, we've created a data analysis visualization tool that's going to be utilized by both FarmLink team members and volunteers. And the tool consists of two primary components. The first is a pricing tab, which uses past and present pricing data from the USDA. And the second is a transactions tab that displays all previous FarmLink transactions. The overall impact of this tool is that all of the relevant information is aggregated, which allows for someone at FarmLink who isn't necessarily a market expert like a volunteer to be able to easily analyze those market trends. Overall, the tool allows FarmLink to be more proactive rather than reactive about what and where to buy by using past transactions as a guide for what they should pay. So let's move into the specific features of each tab in a bit more detail. The pricing tab, which consists again of USDA produce pricing data, displays three categories that the user can sort by. The first is the most complex, but it's the percent change from the average of this week over the previous 10 years with each price point for a week adjusted for inflation. As an example, with today being June 8th, we averaged this week's price over the last 10 years, being the week of June 8th, 2020, back through 2011, and calculate the percent difference of today's price from that 10-year average. The goal of this column is to reflect seasonal changes or where the price should be at this time of year. Additionally, we have the percent change from 3 months ago to show intermediate changes and the percent change from 1 month ago to show short-term market changes. Users will also have the ability to either search for specific produce items or choose to view produce from specific regions. And the impact of this tab specifically is best described via an example. So let's say the price of broccoli in the Midwest is 10% lower than it normally is at this time of year. That means it's at a surplus, and FarmLink should look to buy broccoli from its Midwest farmers that are in their network. So the other main tab of this tool is the transactions tab, and this is what displays all previous FarmLink transactions. Users have the ability to search based on the type of produce item, farm, and or food bank. And then you can also select certain date ranges for transactions with the ability to sort by either the most recent transactions first or the oldest first. As an example, a user could display all of the transactions in January of 2021 from the most recent to least recent, and then pick based on the type of produce item, farm, or food bank they want to look for. The impact of this tool is to show a precedent for what FarmLink has paid in the past for produce items in specific regions, while also serving as a price point for recurring customers. So I'm going to show a little demo real quick. First, we have pop-ups on the top of each column to give a little bit more of a description of what each column does and the information that it provides. And then this is the ability to sort by each of the three columns that I mentioned before, being the 10-year, 3-month, and 1-month percent differences. You'll notice that the percent drops are indicated in green because we're looking to highlight those surpluses. So that's what we're sorting by, and that's what we're emphasizing. You can also search by different regions. So if we wanted to view the Midwest specifically or the Northwest, then we can select all prices from a certain region. And then we can also search for produce items. And rather than functioning like an identifying search method, this works more like a Command F. So it's identifying certain groups of characters. On the transaction side, we're going to do an example that I mentioned before of selecting all transactions from January 2021. And as you can see, you'll have the ability to sort by either the end of the month first or the beginning of the month. You can also further search for produce items. So you could search for broccoli if you wanted, and then you'd also have the ability to search for a specific farm or food bank. You'll see on the food bank that there are multiple pages worth of transactions. We thought that because there are 500 transactions and counting, it would be easier to display all the transactions on multiple tabs rather than having a massive scroll down with 500 plus transactions. So as an overall project update, we're currently working on transferring ownership of the project to the FarmLink team. And down the line, we also hope to have some follow-up conversations to be able to further assess the tool's effectiveness. Overall, I know I can speak for my whole team and that it's been a great experience for us to work together on this tool, and we really can't wait to see it all be put to use at FarmLink moving forward. A huge thank you to Ben, Jordan, Emily, Jacob, and the whole FarmLink team for working with us throughout this year. Thank you so much for your time. And if any of you want to know more about our development process and our future plans for the tool, please come check out our long deck later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. Just a little bit of clarification on how this call is going to work. All the projects will run through a quick short deck, kind of detailing the high level details of their project. And then we'll go into breakout rooms if you guys want to learn a bit more about each individual project from there. But up next, we have Lauren Charney with Survivor Fitness.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate the conclusion of almost a year of hard work. My name is Lauren Charney, and I am the product manager of the Survivor Fitness team. I would first like to take the time to introduce my incredible development team. Charles worked as the tech lead, Ilya headed the development of our expansive backend, Alicia and Abby worked predominantly as our front-end developers, and Grace designed the application. In addition, I would like to thank our stakeholders at Survivor Fitness. Meg and John trusted us with creating this product that you'll see later, and we just want to thank them for providing this opportunity for us. Meg is the founder of Survivor Fitness, and John is a board member with expansive technical logic, and we were able to ask him many questions. Now to give an overview of Survivor Fitness. Survivor Fitness is a nonprofit organization of affiliate gyms and dietitian offices across Central Tennessee. And the Survivor Fitness Foundation aims to assist recovering cancer survivors in regaining their health, strength, and wellness through a 10 to 12-week course. This course combines holistic nutrition and strength coaching in a one-on-one setting. Now, this leads to where Change++ could be of assistance. With many patients, trainers, and dietitians spread throughout the state of Tennessee, Survivor Fitness needed a central space to organize session notes for each participant and keep track of where this participant was in their course. Each course contains a minimum of 24 personal training sessions and 3 to 5 nutrition sessions. So as you can see, there would be lots of notes to organize, lots of different trainers and moving parts. Meg even shared that currently trainers are texting her pictures of their participant notes. So hence, we set out to design and develop an efficient way to comprehensively organize the foundation. This brings us to the solution that we developed, which acts as a native application that will be able to run on both iOS and Android devices and includes 4 different user types, which I'll briefly go over now. First are the dietitians and trainers. They both require a central place to enter in statistics after a session with a participant. For a trainer, sessions 1, 12, and 24, or the first, halfway through, and last session, requires a lot of comprehensive statistics, ranging from the weight of the participant to a mile time, or even your bicep circumference. There's lots of different spaces for those notes to be entered. And then the remaining trainer and dietitian sessions only require a space for overall notes and dates. The image you see to the right would act as that kind of middle session that allows a trainer to enter in the date and the notes. Next is the location administrator view. Location administrators are the people who own a gym or dietitian office. They need to be able to quickly view their list of health professionals at their location, be able to enter in their contact information, add new trainers, as well as see all participants that act at their location. And lastly is the super administrator. The super administrator is someone that would work on the Survivor Fitness team, such as Meg or John. They need to be able to quickly navigate between locations, trainers, dietitians, and participants to ensure the organization is optimally operating. So you will be able to see our solutions more in depth in our long deck. In terms of a brief overview of our tech stack, we were able to use React Native to develop the front end and Java to use the back end, as well as several other applications that help to get our back end running and our application functional. Looking forward, we look to finalize the front end to back end connection and passing our application off to Survivor Fitness in the next few weeks. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join us in our long session where we'll go more in depth into our application and our product. Thank you.
That is awesome, Lauren. Thank you. Next up, we have the Tennessee Local Food Summit project.
All right. So as Jaden said, our project was the Tennessee Local Food Summit. I'm just figuring out how to control the screen. Give me a second. All right, I think I have it now. But it's just not working. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So I'd like to start by introducing the team. Our project manager is Uj. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it today. My name is Burke Lundstedt. I was a tech lead, and then we had 3 developers, Akash, Bill, and Kwame. We also had Grace. She was our designer, and she did an awesome job. And 2 members of the exec board really stepped in and helped us out, and that was Jaden and Drew. Next, I'd like to introduce our project stakeholders and talk about them a little bit. So our project was done with the Tennessee Local Food Summit. The Tennessee Local Food Summit is a nonprofit organization that supports Middle Tennessee communities through opportunities to increase production and consumption of high quality food. They provide necessary education to revitalize rural economies by hosting conferences to bring people of the food industry together and spread necessary awareness. Our main point of contact in the Tennessee Local Food Summit was Ursula King. She helped us a lot with direction and also explaining what their community was all about. So what was our project? Well, one of the main things that their community does is host conferences. These conferences serve as a way to teach people, but just as importantly, they also provide a place for people in the food industry to meet each other. For example, these conferences serve as a way for local restaurant owners to meet local farmers. And then after their introduction through one of these conferences, these people could then continue to mutually benefit from their interaction. The Tennessee Local Food Summit prioritizes community, and therefore these interactions are incredibly important. So what does our project do? Well, it makes managing and running conferences easier by making it easier to create conferences and workshops, as well as view and sign up for one. While I could just talk through what our project does, it would be a lot easier to show you. So here's a short demo of part of our website. As you know, Zoom is notoriously bad with videos, but I'm going to try to go slowly and such that you catch everything, but have a little bit of patience. All right. So if you were to visit our project, this is what you would see on the main page. You'd see a schedule with different conferences, and you could tab back and forth through different months if you wanted to see future or previous conferences. You could also view it as a list. So let's click on one of the conferences. Once you click on one of the conferences, you can see the dates for it, as well as the location, and you can sign in to register for it if you haven't done already. You will also be able to see a short description, and then you'll be able to click on one of the dates for more information. Once you've clicked on one of the dates, you'll be able to see the schedule for that day. You'll be able to see general events such as breakfast or a keynote, and then also specific workshops, and also the different tracks available at the conference, such as community or economics. We also have a feature such that you can see your own schedule, where it filters it down so that you can only see the different workshops that you've signed up for. So as you can see, this provides a nice schedule. And then after that, you can click on one of the specific workshops for more information. You can see its time, where it is, as well as a short description and the ability to add it to your schedule. You'll also be able to see the speaker for the conference and some different attendees. As I talked about earlier, the Tennessee Local Food Summit prioritizes community. So how does our app help this? How does our website help this? Well, let's say you meet someone really cool at a conference and you want to get to know them better. You can go through here, click on their profile, and if they choose to make their information public, you can get into contact with them through the contact information that they provide. You'll also be able to see a short description that they provide, and also potentially other workshops that they're attending in case you want some inspiration for ones you should visit yourself. So that just about wraps it up for my demo. As you can see, we're back to the schedule page, and that's a brief introduction to what our project does. All right. So what is the difference that our project makes? Well, our project makes 3 things easier. It makes it easier to create conferences, it makes it easier to view conferences, and it makes it easier to meet and stay in contact with other community members. These are 3 very, very important things, and hopefully through them, we should be able to really support the local food industry. And what's next for our project? Well, unfortunately, our project had a slow start, and there's still a decent amount of work to do before we can consider this project complete. Our developers live super busy lives, and unfortunately, as some developers had to drop off, our project got delayed. With that in mind, we will be finishing this project with the help of a few exec team members, and we're really excited about seeing the difference that this project can make in the Tennessee local food industry. And now I'm going to be passing the presentation off to the next project.
Thank you, Burke. Up next, we have Claire McGonigal with the Tom Project.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Let's see if I can control this. All right, here we go. There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm Claire, and this year I worked on the Change++ team working with Tikkun Olam Makers, or TOM for short. So first of all, just to quickly introduce our team, I worked as the product manager, Owen was our lead developer, and then David and Alina worked as our developers, and Asher was our designer. So a little bit about TOM to start off. TOM is an organization that creates solutions to challenges that people living with disabilities or the elderly may face. So there are TOM communities around the world that host yearly makeathons where teams of engineers participate to build solutions to these challenges that people may be facing. So there's actually a TOM community at Vanderbilt, and normally they do host a yearly makeathon. And so they were the ones who came to Change+ with an idea for an app. So here you can just see a couple of the projects that currently exist on TOM's website. And as you can probably imagine, a big part of creating these solutions is actually documenting how to build them, because the whole goal of TOM is to create products that are accessible to these people to build themselves and hopefully solve some of the challenges they may be facing. So the goal is to make these solutions as accessible as possible. So it's really, really important that the process of creating them is well documented so that others can build them too. But in the past, during the makeathons, documentation has been an issue because the teams wouldn't really keep up with it during the event. So the documentation ended up being incomplete or unorganized. For example, teams may have just been writing down notes on paper, taking pictures on their phone, drawing sketches in other notebooks. And at the end, it was a whole process to kind of collect all of that documentation and organize it and then upload it. So it was really a multi-step process. And as you can imagine, it's really easy to lose information or become disorganized in that process. So here's an example of some of the documentation, the full documentation put together for completed projects on the TOM website. And the goal of our app is to really create a centralized and streamlined process so that one member of each Makeathon team can easily document their solution throughout the Makeathon. So some of the main features of our app will be the ability to log in or sign up as that user to document your solution, search and view old TOM projects, and then of course, most importantly, to create a new project and upload documentation for it. So just a little bit about our tech behind our solution. We built this app using React Native, so it works for both iOS and Android. And then for backend, we are using Firebase. Here's just a quick video of the sign up process. On the right here in the blue, you can see just a screenshot of what it looks like if you're a pre-existing user going to log in. But this is if you are actually signing up. So first you'll just enter your identifying information, just name and email. Then you create a password and confirm that what you entered was correct. And then you choose your community. And here you can also search for a community from the list because there are many, many communities around the world. And then you select your community and just hit finish, and your account is created and you're sent to that main search page that you see there. Okay, so then we have just the user homepage. Here, all this information is actually pulled from Firebase. So you'll have your first and last name, your community, and then recent projects. You will view the project that you were recently working on. This is our search functionality. Here you can see all of the projects that currently exist on the TOM website. And then if you select one of these, it takes you to this page on the right here, which shows you the pictures and the information about that project. And then here, this is where you create a, let me pause that for a second. This is actually creating a new project. So as you can see here, this upload image is actually our camera functionality. You can click on that to take a picture or access pictures from your camera roll as well. And then down here, we have all of the other information associated with the project. So name, description of the challenge, and then a description of the need knower or the person who is facing that challenge. And then you also have the ability to add the tools and materials that are used to build this project, and then add instructions to build it step by step. So this is just a quick demo of entering some of that information. So you're able to just type directly into these boxes. And then on the right in this screenshot here, you can see this is what it would look like if you clicked on the button to actually create an individual step. So similarly, you can associate images with an individual step. You can give that step a name, and then you can add a description of what you are actually building in that individual step. And thank you so much for listening. And if you are interested in hearing more about our project, feel free to join our breakout room after.
I love it, Claire. Moving on, we have the fire mitigation app.
Hey everyone, my name is Ani and I worked with the fire mitigation app for Change++ this year. So our team was me, I'm a rising junior, I was the product manager. Hadley Chaplin was our tech lead, Olivia Logan, Alex Barrera Waters, and Intezar Paresh were our 3 developers, and Asher was one of our designers. This team was really great, and we got help from James, who's almost like a senior exec member at this point, and Ethan. So they were really helpful to our project and really instrumental to our success this year. So for our project, our stakeholders was MOFD. They're a fire department for the towns of Moraga and Orinda in California. These are 2 towns of about 40,000 people in total on about 15 square miles right outside of Berkeley. And between the 2 of them, they have over $100 million of property at risk for fire damage, because obviously this is California and they're right in the center of wildfire territory. So wildfires are one of the biggest fears that they have. And in just California, last year, they had over 57,000 wildfires and 10.3 million acres of trees were burned. So it's a real big problem there, and they really have a goal to try and cut down on that in any way possible. So the fire department came to Change++ and said that we have an idea that using people's sprinklers, we want to be able to wet the lawn, so that even if someone's evacuated or even if they live in their house, we want their sprinklers to be able to turn on, dampen the area, dampen the grass, dampen any brush, and make sure that if any embers come from a wildfire upwind, that if they land on their lawn and they try and catch, the lawn will be wet enough and their area will be wet enough that they won't actually start a new wildfire. And they said that that's how a majority of the property damage and the new wildfires start, especially near residential areas. So this was something that was really important to them, and they understood the value of this solution. So the fire department came to us with the solution, but it also depended on something called a smart sprinkler. So in the same way that you have a smart sprinkler or a smart speaker, like an Alexa or a Google Home, these smart sprinklers are internet connected sprinkler devices that control your sprinklers outside your house, and they can remotely turn on, turn off from your phone, or in our case, from our web application. And we wanted to make sure that this app could hold up to an emergency situation so that if there is a fire upwind, a fire chief wouldn't have to sit around and plan out all the details of how it's going to work. Instead, they should be able to just click on the area and start the sprinklers in that area for everyone who's enrolled. So we wanted to make this as simple as possible for people who are signing up and for the fire chiefs, since they might be using this under a lot of stress. And the way we solved that problem was, first, for the landing and splash screen, we tried to make this as simple as possible. We had two types of users, home users and fire chiefs. For home users, so homeowners who had a Rakio sprinkler device, all they had to provide was their first name, last name, phone number, and the API key, which was provided to them by Rakio. And once they did that, that's all they needed to sign up, and they never need to log in again. For the fire chiefs, on the other hand, they either could log in, and then when they had to make an account, we got a little bit more information from them, but we wanted to make sure that not just anyone could log in and kind of use your sprinklers. So there is some authorization on that. And we've entrusted MOFD into the future to make sure that future towns can get onboarded into that process as well. For the fire chiefs, again, like I said, we want to make this as simple as possible for them. So we had all of these evacuation zones in California, and all they had to do was simply tap on a single region. It goes from red to green, and that means that it's now watering. It would go on a cycle throughout their sprinklers until it either exhausted sprinklers or the fire chiefs decide to turn it off. So we made sure that the fire chief has ultimate control, but if the homeowner wants to shut off their sprinklers, they did have that final power. Our impact was that we were able to successfully perform our test, we performed a test about a month ago with some local homeowners, about 20 homeowners and local contractors, and we had over 90% satisfaction. The system worked as intended, and we got a lot of really positive response from the community that they really saw the potential of this product. And in fact, we were able to get a little story on NBC News. Oh, I don't know if the audio is playing from that. Oh. Sam, do you think you'd be able to maybe even turn on your volume?
Yeah, Sam, I think if you just unmute, you should be good.
Turn it off with the help of an app. For those that live right next to some bone dry vegetation here in Orinda, the answer is absolutely.
I love the idea, quite frankly, because we won't have to sit around worrying about it. We'll be on the road out of here.
If a wildfire comes raging over this hill, the sprinklers surrounding the Katowski's house in the northern edge of Orinda are the first line of defense.
There are, a couple thousand houses down there, and there's not a lot to stop it. So we want to stop it on this ridge.
Which is why the Katowskis handed over control of their property's irrigation system to this man.
Fire Chief of the Moraga Orinda Fire District.
He will basically wet down the surfaces, wet down the area, and deal with it.
Chief Dave Winokur teamed up with these undergraduate students at Vanderbilt University to come up with an app that allows his fire department to access web-enabled sprinkler systems throughout Moraga and Orinda.
They understood that this has the true potential to help save lives.
At least 18 homes have opted in. If a wildfire is heading this way, this is what Chief Winokur will do.
Through some relatively basic fire modeling, we can tell where embers are most likely to be falling, and those are the areas of the community we would cycle these sprinklers on.
Their resources are finite, so whatever we can do to add to it, then we're going to be protected more.
Chief Winokur wants other fire chiefs across California to have this app in their toolkit, so he's calling on Silicon Valley for their help.
What we really need, we need a partner who has an established system. Amazon Alexa, Google Home Hub, and Apple Hub. We need a large tech partner who can do this at scale.
In Orinda, Melissa Colorado, NBC Bay Area News.
Here's a question for you. Would you let your local fire chief have control over?
Yep. So as you heard, we were able to get the successful test. And just to quickly touch on this, we used a MERN stack. If you want to learn more about this, I encourage you to attend our sort of long deck presentation where we'll dive into this a lot deeper. And then looking ahead, as you heard again in that news video, we're looking for more towns to join. We want a slightly more robust and a little bit more scalable fire zone system that corresponds to the evacuation zones they use in their mapping system. And we want some more robust controlling. And then our ultimate goal is within the next couple of weeks to hand this off to MOFD so that they can kind of take this in a more powerful direction now that they've shown that the concept works. I think they have a lot of plans and we want to work with them to make sure that they can achieve them. Otherwise, that's about it. Thanks, everyone.
That is crazy, Ani. I love seeing you guys have a direct impact from your work. It's crazy. Last but not least, we have the Nashville's Mayor's Office project.
Okay. Hello, guys. Thanks for coming tonight. My name is Changul, and I am the product manager of the Nashville Mayor's Office Food Map project. I want to start it off by introducing this great team that I've had the honor to work with. We have our tech lead, Grace Jennings, our backend developer, Sam, our frontend developers, Chen Hao and Caleb. And I also want to give special thanks to the Social Venture Think Tank team, and they were responsible for communicating with our stakeholders, the Nashville Mayor's Office, and they also helped us with researching on the food scarcity problem in Nashville and providing us information that we needed to better fit our users' needs. And of course, I want to give thanks to Jeanette and Chelsea, our designers, for coming up with brilliant user interface, which you will see in a little bit. So the research done by SVTT team has shown that there are a great deal of food insecurity in the Davidson County, and the number of food insecure population actually skyrocketed after the tornado and COVID hits. So the Nashville Mayor's Office has been collecting a lot of geolocated data that can provide people with food resources. But even though there are a great deal of food resources available nearby, there actually wasn't any easy to use platform for the general public to access them. Which is why we're hoping to come up with an effective and also sustainable solution that is not just instant stress relief, but could also be used in the future for everyone. So here's our solution, which is to build the Nashville Food Bank website. This platform would provide information about available food resources in the Nashville area, and it has a database of nonprofit groups, food banks, and also other food resources provided by different organizations. We want it to be as accessible as possible, and one way we're doing to achieve that goal is to make it support multiple languages for people that don't have English as their first language. So on our homepage, the user will be able to select the language they prefer and fill out a survey about their own information, such as their gender, age, if they're a parent or caregiver, and what kind of food resources they prefer, etc. And after filling out the survey, the website will then filter out information on available food resources nearby that they're eligible to collect in the form of a map as shown below. As you can see here, it can show the address, and it's also going to show like what time they're available for giving out food. In addition, our website also provides information on applying for food assistance programs and also other helpful resources in the Nashville area. The users can even sign up for volunteering opportunities here as well. Moreover, other organizations that are hoping to get involved can also fill out the submit a resource form on our website. and they can provide information on food resources that they're willing to give. And through communicating with the Nashville Mayor's Office, the Tennessee 211 office said that they will be able to help with authenticating and also approving the information that the organizations provide. And they will be managing our website in the future. And this is amazing because they could also help publicize our website and reach out to more organizations and help more people to know about our website. So to touch on the technologies we used Go for backend, front end we used React, and we used Google Cloud in the beginning to deploy and use some API for our website. And we're really excited about this project because we also gained hands-on experience in using these new tools and technologies. If you want to learn more about the technology side, feel free to come out to the breakout room. But besides gaining website building experience outside of the classroom, we're also really thrilled that we're able to build an application that could actually make real-life impact. It has the potential to serve 700,000 Nashville citizens, and our stakeholders, the Nashville Mayor's Office, would also send out links and also QR codes at food distribution sites so that our website could be further publicized and help more people in need. We can also do this by collecting comprehensive information on food resources, and we're able to achieve this goal by working with the Tennessee 211 office to notify more organizations and get them involved. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chong. So that concludes our short decks for the night. And before I split off into breakout rooms, I just want to remind everyone that Change Plus Plus is actively looking for projects and nonprofits to talk to. So if you all have any contacts you'd be willing to share with us, please contact abigail.s.cohen@vanderbilt.edu. It's going to be in the chat right now, but please feel free to share over any information you might have. But I'm going to go ahead and open up some breakout rooms for you guys to ask questions about the projects and learn a bit more detail about how the process of developing these products went down. And they are open. You guys can join anyone you want to, but yeah, thank you for joining us.
You can go and click on breakout rooms in the bottom right corner to join a room.
Yes.
Let's see here. I figure we can go and fill out whichever rooms have a few less viewers, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in. I was gonna see where the divide was.
Yeah, I'll hop in as well.
Which one are you going to, Jiyoung?
I'll go into Claire's,
Right.
Tom's.
Burke, you want to head into one of those rooms?
Yep. I think I don't know. Is one you prefer me to go into or just?
Looks like Fire App doesn't have anyone other than their team members. If you want to go check that one out, or if there's one specific that you love, then you can go for it.
I'll go check that out.